Yo, yo, yo. We are back on the back of a Grizzlies win. So we're gonna do a little celebrating tonight. It's been a rough few days for Grizz Twitter, the Grizzlies fan base, but tonight we're gonna celebrate as we always do. They win the 129 to 115, and so it was a good win for our boys. But we're gonna have a good time talking to our guy Drew Gann tonight. So I actually had to call into the bullpen. I had to go to the second bullpen because Ryan was busy. It's his wife's birthday. So shout out to his wife and happy birthday. But Nate's traveling for work this week. And we talked, and he was just like, you know what? I'm spent, dude. I was able to watch a little bit of the game, but not enough to actually talk about it. And so we were able to get with Drew, and he's going to help us out. And so it's going to be a fun night overall. But as you always know, we're going to break down the game in its entirety tonight is where he play. That's going to be the second segment. And then the last thing we're going to do is a little bit of look ahead, but it's a look ahead of the next game, which is the Spurs. And so it's the exact same team. So let's go ahead and get the show started, and we'll get to Drew right here. Well, hello, sir. How are you?
What up? I'm all good here. I'm glad I got to come and hang out on a Grizz win. When you text me, I was like, I don't know, this one may be bad. I've been yelling and screaming a lot this week, so I'm glad we're here on a happy Wednesday.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, the Grizzlies win 129 to 115. And so Nate wasn't able to get here, but it's okay. He sent his love. The first thing he said was, I've watched enough to know Zach Edey has sucked. So listen, that's the only thing I'll say about that. And I said, I don't think you've watched enough because he hasn't been that bad. And so just off the top rope, Drew, just your thoughts on the game. How did it go for you?
Listen, I've been the guy beating the table for a long time, just saying, hey, like I want to see the team just take over. Veteran, this felt like a big boy win, like a professional win where you struggled with a team that was better than you. But in the fourth quarter, you got your guys in and you just put the clamps to them. You just put the screws to them and you just went and you took over. Ja was amazing. Uh, Jaren was amazing down the stretch. Bane was amazing down the stretch. I mean, it seems so silly to be excited about your best players playing well. I feel like that a lot of that should be expected, but recently it just seems like nobody's been able to do the same thing from game to game. I mean, you just look back a couple of days ago against Houston and then tonight and the vast difference. And it just seems perfect just to be able to call on your dudes and them show up and just close it out.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. And if you look through the stats a little bit, just kind of on a broader basis, and that was the job we need, D'Angelo, 100%. Like he looked like the best player on the court outside of that freak and the alien. Even though he did get
Yeah.
the alien, he almost got him.
No,
But
he got him. He got him. I
but
listen.
wasn't
I
live,
saw it. I saw it. He
right?
contested it as if the play was live. That one,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, they scored. See, 40. They scored 78 in the second half. I'm trying to do the math real
that's
quick.
50 something points in the first half.
Yeah, 78, and then and then they allowed 52 in the second. 78
Okay.
to 52 was the second half score. And so
Oh man.
it absolutely just goes to the fact that when a team can lock in, they lock in. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anybody talking about the coaching decisions that won that game tonight because it was, the coach lost the last game. And so tonight, if you look at the game, I think the coach won. Is that true?
I mean, if you're going to be consistent, right? The biggest gripe, and I conceded this point with the Houston game, like Josh shouldn't be getting his rest in the middle of the fourth quarter and coming back in the 3 minute mark. Like
Right.
we all agree on that, despite me being the pro, the players need to win the game. Ja got his break at the first part of the fourth quarter, which Taylor deserves credit for making a change, the smart move here. But then the players went out and won the game, just
Yeah.
like the players turned the ball over against Houston. The players
Yeah.
went out, won the game. It was just a clinic. That fourth quarter was an absolute clinic, especially the second half.
Yep. No doubt, and they played well overall, and that's what it comes down to is I think when the I hate saying this when the nut cutting time it was that time
Yeah.
like the Grizzlies showed up and they showed out. So overall, listen, I'm not going to be ever upset, but getting your 10th win, your 10th straight win in San Antonio, it feels like a lifetime ago. And I don't know when you became a fan, Drew, but I remember like San Antonio was the apex of
Oh
exactly
yeah.
what basketball was. And we were always getting thumped by them, whether it's in the playoffs or the regular season. When can you send back your fandom? Is it day one?
No, no, I'm not a day one. Here in North Mississippi, the Grizzlies don't really travel here as
Okay.
a it's not there's not a vast Grizzlies population here in Northeast Mississippi. But I got in right after that San Antonio series win, 8-1 upset. It kind of when it started making ESPN, because I was a Sports Center aholic, and the Grizzlies just didn't make Sports Center very often. And that big showing and kind of made national news. And I creeped myself away, and I've been here since day one. So I guess I may have been a bandwagon then, but not anymore. But
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the days where we never won in San Antonio.
Ever.
And so for you to tell me that there's a 10-game win streak in San Antonio, it's like an alternate reality.
Yeah. It doesn't like that shouldn't be how it is. But the fact is that they haven't been good for a good minute, and the Grizzlies have been, especially a regular season team. And so we're definitely a team that is, I guess, up and coming. Like we've kind of stabilized a little bit, and it's crazy to say that we've stabilized compared to last year. Like my God, last year so bad. But it was a definitely fun time. I'm curious within the fan base because we have Art here. He was a fan since 2009. I'm curious. Go ahead and put in the year that you became a Grizzlies fan in the chat because I want to see a little bit of where everybody tracks. It doesn't matter if you say 2025. That's fine. That's on you. I'm glad that you're here watching the show, but I promise you missed out on some great Core 4 era. But I'd like to see everybody's years are when they start.
I would imagine there's going to be a lot of like 2019, 2020. You know, it came in with Ja, and let me be honest. Like, I don't feel like the Grizzlies hadn't won nothing yet, not with this iteration. And so, like, you can still get in and call yourself ground floor as far as I'm concerned. Like, this isn't a big market team. We're not in LA. We're not in New York. We're not, we're not stacking up titles yet. So if you get in today, like, I still would consider you like all right, you're not a bandwagon fan.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I love that one. All right. Everybody's going the extra mile. We have Greer here, who his nemesis, we'll call him, is Nate is not here tonight. But he's saying even 2024 and then the hashtag Edie. So same thing with Marco, 2021, Adams, day one fan Kip, same here. I was here when they got here 0102, the year I graduated. Was it high school? Yeah, high school. I was 0102. And so same thing, Big Die, Austin Moore.
Yeah, we got a Yuki. Somebody came with Yuki. So
shut up.
Oh yeah.
Raged him a Yuki and Ja?
Yeah.
I love it.
The Abby makes me think he may be Japanese. Maybe I'm stereotyping.
See, I can't see it that.
Welcome. Yeah, I mean, I got in, I would say that's probably like 2012. And so I've been here for a long time. I've seen some hardships. So.
I remember sitting up in the Sonic Saver section in the pyramid where it smelled like Fritos and dirty socks, and it was disgusting. And my God, it was like I think it was $5 seats. I believe that's what it was. But we got that Sonic Saver pack. I believe it was at one point maybe, and you like
Sonic Saver seats.
Yeah, and you got like 10 or 12 games for a certain price, and we all went in together, and it was terrible. But we got to see the Grizzlies, and that was the biggest thing back then for sure. But anyway, all right, let's go down. Let's break down the game a little bit. And so we're gonna go into what if or going into the game. I see a lot of people as what if that counted for Ja's dunk over Edie.
I've said it. If it would have counted, it would have been 2 more points or possibly 3. But I don't care, dude. That he contested that shot and Ja yacked it. I mean, no doubt. No, I don't care.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Jaren Jackson Jr., who is our little bit of our Stromile Swift, as Goon the Shooter talking about the Stromile Swift era when he came over. 19.6 rebounds, 2 assists. He went 2 of 8 from deep, hit a big one in the fourth. Any thoughts on how Jaren played?
Yeah. Listen, it's no secret that the first half was just utterly atrocious for Jaren, and that was one of the first times this year. I've said 100 times, like the team has not done a good job of course correcting, and if things go bad, the vibes get off, and it just continues left. Jaren had a horrendous first half in which uh he he gets blocked by Wemby, and then he goes and shoves him on the other end and picks up a fourth foul early in the third quarter, and then but when he came back in, he had plenty of time to think, I guess, but he flushed it and he just absolutely dominated. He tomato chested Wemby with the, sent Brevin Knight out of his chair as he was calling the game, as he sent Wemby behind the stanchion to get to a layup there. And it was just wide open. And he was absolutely incredible tonight.
Yeah, so it's hard, and a lot of people who play basketball, and especially at a higher level, the higher you go, it definitely you can understand a little bit more of being in rhythm. And I know people have talked about it with the rotations completely, but he ended up with 4 fouls. But he was in foul trouble pretty much the entire first half, and was struggling to find a rhythm. And though he was out of the rhythm, he was still picking up fouls, which wasn't helping his cause to get back into rhythm. But once he settled into the third quarter, I think that's really what flipped for him. He was able to kind of get into that rhythm and kind of find a zone that kind of helped him out a little bit, because he was not good in that first half, like you said. So,
and it's no little thing to be able to guard Wemby and not foul. Like Jaren is prone to have some crazy noodle arms that he can't control sometimes, and to try to combat Wemby with that has got to be difficult.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, everybody's talking about Kennard already. We'll get to him. Give me a second. I'm trying to get through the starters. Jalen Wells, another just midnight completely. Like, he was fine. He looked like a rookie. It is what it is. Like, he's going to have nights like that, so I don't want to spend too much time on him. Zach Edey, obviously he's polarizing. 6 points, 5 rebounds. Those 6 points came in the very first quarter. What changed for him? Do you think they adjusted and kind of figured out how to get him out of his spots or anything? Because he only ended up having 17 minutes overall.
Well, I think he just gets in the way. All of his points are right there at the basket. Like I said, it seemed like they had made a conscious effort to get him involved early, and he got 6 points. He had a block, he had a rebound, and a dunk that'll go semi-viral on Wemby. And he had a good start, but down the stretch, you went to a lineup that sealed the game, and he wasn't in it. And I don't think that he just really fits right now if Ja's going to continue to go downhill, which is what he does best. And it makes matters even worse that when Zach Edey is in the paint playing against San Antonio, that means the dude who had 8 blocks today, the alien, Victor Wembanyama, is right beside him in the paint. So it just didn't really work for him down the stretch. And I don't think it's any coincidence that once he kind of got out of the rotation in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter, I don't think he got any minutes in the fourth quarter, the Grizzlies opened up on him.
Yeah, so going to here, and I know Greer is big on Zach Edey, and I get it. Listen, ride or die, dude, and by all means,
I appreciate that.
Ride or die, like, by far. But the team decided not to pass to him after that. One, I don't think it was they weren't passing to him. I think the scheme changed, and they went away from Edey more in the second half, and they started getting up and down more to a little bit of what Rusty was saying, is they wanted to get, I guess, Wemby out of the middle where he was when he was guarding Zach Edey, to open it up a little bit more and create a little flow. And so I'm curious, do you think you ever just say, hey, I'm not going to pass it to you, or you think it's completely schemed? Because there's no way that they're just like not going to pass it to Zach Edey.
No, I don't think they have an edict that says don't pass to Zach Edey. I think what's true is that Zach Edey, when you're starting the game and you've got John, Jaren, and Desmond on the court, he's option 5 when it comes to shots. Like, he's the 5th option. I don't care who the 4th dude is. Jalen Wells is going to have more shot attempts than Zach Edey.
No doubt.
And especially if you're trying to put him on the perimeter, he's just not going to get any shots. And that's a good thing. You've got 3 dudes that deserve them better.
No, no doubt. And that's the thing is you don't want to have him, camped in the lane, with the just kind of clogging everything up because you
Right.
obviously have Edie there, but then you have another alien just right behind him that's guarding him. That's not good. And
You
I think
know,
that's what opened it up.
I sent talking about the alien. At one point, I was watching on my phone, putting my daughter to bed, and I glanced down and I was like, "Oh, Conchar's in the game." And no, it was Santi guarding Wimby, and
I
that's
saw that
how
the other
freakish
day.
that dude looks. I was like, Jitty? Like, no, that's 6'11" Santi Aldama.
He got that. Hey, it was that haircut, man. The haircut he got a little fade to him, and
Yeah.
he started looking a little Conchar-esque. So I like it. All right, let's keep it rolling here. And Wemby did end up with 8 blocks, which is incredible.
Stupid.
Um,
Almost had a triple double, 2 blocks away from a
yeah,
triple double.
a guy that did have a double 21, 4, and 12 tonight. 1 of 2 from deep, 9 of 13 overall, which is a great number. I know he was getting blocked, a good amount, but his assist at 12 is incredible. But Ja tonight he looked like the best player on the court, and he was getting everybody open early on the game and then late in the game. It very much was an
Yeah.
open close for him. In the middle, in the second, third, he was okay. It was the Kennard show in the third, but overall, that fourth was all about Ja.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's kind of my biggest gripe with Ja is you saw in the first quarter that Ja Morant was going to be amazing tonight. Right off the bat. He had 5 assists in the first quarter, and he didn't necessarily have as many points, but you could just tell, man, he was just in it, and he was an
Yeah,
alpha dog out of the shoot tonight.
yeah.
And yeah, and it carried all the way through to the fourth quarter where he took over again. And he was just absolutely astounding tonight. He is exactly the player that you think can win a world championship for the Memphis Grizzlies. That's the guy that you want to throw out there if you're really thinking you're going to compete.
Yeah, and that's what and I Air Morant just sounds so awesome. I wish that was not taken, obviously, because you don't want to be Air
Yeah.
Jordan, but Air Morant, like Ja looked incredible, and I know it goes underrated because in the dunk on Wemby happened right after, but that sick move where he did the whole step back and it was kind of like he paused the ball and then brought it back forward like he was going to go behind the back and just went up for a nice easy layup. One, the left hand. I know some people think that like, hey, that looks easy. I know his left hand is bigger than his right hand, and I know a lot of that he does the scoop and scores with the left hand because he says he has a better feel for it because his hand is a little bit bigger. But still, you shouldn't be able to do that as a human because I promise you, it is so hard. But it's incredible what he's doing. But let's talk about Bane. We'll finish up with the starters. But Bane overall came in. He came in clutch. He scored in bunches, but ended up with 21 points. 2 of 4 from deep. Is he shooting enough?
No, no, I don't think so. But and it's not that he's not shooting enough in stretches, but I think you said it best when you said it's in spurts. It's I think he should get 15 to 18 shots a game at minimum, and with half of those being threes. And it's just to go back to John, how it pertains to Bane. I feel
Yeah.
like Bane was at his best when Ja was playing too, because Ja carried the ball and initiated the offense the whole game when he was in the game. It wasn't a lot of Ja in the corner as Desmond brings the ball up. And I think that also benefits both parties, where Ja initiates the offense, can get downhill if he wants to, and Dez is just available to catch and shoot. There, you need to see more of that for Bane. But yeah, he was amazing. He still looked like he dribbled a football a couple different times. But he also when he's on a straight line drive to the bucket, he is really good at finishing layups, scoops, all kinds of stuff around the basket on a drive, and he did that really well tonight.
Yeah. Brandon Lee says that fake didn't fake Castle at all,
Yeah,
bro. I
it
disagree.
worked. So
Must be a Spurs there. Hey, welcome, by the way. But he
yeah,
definitely did get faked out because he stopped. All you need is
yeah,
stutter with these
yeah,
guys. Um, but no, overall, like I just think that Bane is a guy that they're gonna have to find a rhythm for. And that's the only thing is, man, is like you gotta find a rhythm for a guy like Desmond Bane. And whatever that looks like, I don't know if that's more of the rotation that he needs or if it is flow of the offense because he hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked good at all
all year.
this year. But if you looked at his scoring, which I know a lot of people have because, one, I bet on him to go over the 17.5 points tonight. But I wanted to bring this up. So I'm going to go back and look at it real quick for Desmond Bane, if I can find him. Here it is. All right. So over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the last 11 games, he's had 18 or more points. I know
Yeah.
that goes very underrated, and I know that he has struggled because before then, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 9 games before that, he only scored 18 or more points in 3 of the 9. Like, he is getting a little bit more comfortable in the offense, but the problem is they have to find a way to let it flow. And the problem, I think, is what it is he's having to handle the ball too much. And
Yes.
that goes to the whole fact of the backup point guard, and it just doesn't make sense, like why he's having to handle the ball so much. But the problem is, if Pippen's struggling, then where do you go? And that's what I don't
Yeah.
understand how they're going to go that direction because they have to get the ball out of Bane's hand.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I'd go to Jaren in that situation. And he doesn't dribble the ball off his foot as much, and it's a slower pace, but just ISO ball. I mean, I think we're talking about very few minutes here without Ja and Pippen and which Bane is on the court. But if so, just give the ball to Jaren.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea. Wayne wants to know, could you run Bane off the bench with a green light to shoot? Listen, bro, he's got the green light to shoot whether he starts, sits, and what happened is I don't know if people noticed tonight at all, and I know I said this, and I know other people have talked about this at all, is they were pairing up Jaren and Ja, and because of that, you allowed Scottie Pippen to run with Desmond Bane, right? Because that should help, but the problem is it wasn't working with Bane because sometimes Bane was having to be more on ball. Well, tonight they had Scottie Pippen still running sometimes with Ja, but the main is they were going Bane and Jaren, and then Ja would kind of be left with the leftovers, we'll say. And I think Ja's good enough to bring everybody's level of play up enough, or he can take over himself. So Bane, I think he'll be fine. It's just going to take him time to kind of get into the rhythm and find what works. But he struggled, but he's kind of solidifying himself now in his points and his play. So I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, we've got to remember, like, this is a brand new literally foreign offense.
Right.
And it just takes reps. And I know we're halfway through the season. I think this was game 41. But these dudes have not played together. Everybody's seemingly still figuring out what to do, including Taylor at times.
Yeah.
But it's just they're going to settle in. As long as they stay healthy, they're going to settle in.
Yeah, video watcher says interesting to see Ja go the first one out tonight instead of Bane because it's been a little bit different and they've changed some things up, but I know that we're gonna have to figure out a way to get whoever's by themselves a running mate because sometimes you can flow over where you do have one on the court, but you don't have to put them the other two out at the same time, right? They can kind of flow over, but there has to be the bench has to pick it up. Scottie Pippen Jr. definitely needs to step it up a little bit, but he's still young, and that's what's going to happen.
He got me hot and bothered, stripping CP3.
Whoa!
And when he stole it from CP3 and dunked and then took the offensive foul, I was ready to run through a wall for the dude. I hate Chris Paul.
Hot and bothered. I love it. All right, last guy that I want to hit on. You know what? We'll talk about all these three together, but mainly Luke Kennard. He got hot, and that's what a shooter does. Shooter gets hot. I don't think there's anything around it. I think he was a guy who just got hot and played well. For a spurt, that was it. Perfect. That's his role, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Jay Huff, big minutes. He ended up playing 11 minutes, which he had 4 at the first half, and then ended up playing. So he played much better in the second half. But he had 3 big threes with 11 points, and then a double-double, 20 and 10 double-double. Santi Aldama in 27 minutes. Like he played a lot more. I know we talked about it before, and y'all talked about it on your show this morning, The Daily Grind. Check it out. It'll be live at 7:30 a.m. Central in the morning. Go check it out. Are you there with Luke?
No, it'll be Rusty in the morning.
Ah, that Rusty fella.
Sorry.
That Rusty fella.
But you can catch me and Rusty at on your lunch break tomorrow.
Yeah, so if you don't get enough of Rusty, you're more than welcome to get a different roll of Rusty at noon with our guy Drew here. So shout out to them. But yeah, check it out in the morning, 7:30 Central. Check out Daily Grind, and then at noon Central, go ahead and hit up. It's a live show. Both are live shows. You can get in the comments just like you do here, and you can make fun of whoever you want. I like to make fun of Luke the most, but you can make fun of anybody else. Maybe we all join tomorrow at noon and everybody make fun of Rusty. Deal?
I love it.
Right,
I'm gonna
I'll
be there. That's my thing. So, yeah. So,
all right.
yeah, noon tomorrow.
Yeah, noon tomorrow. Check it out. It is the $2 Sports Show, but let's go ahead. Let's keep moving. I know people talked about the Marcus Smart, and I believe it was King, Mix, and Lauren that were discussing it early into the chat. They were talking about how he hasn't been there. What's going on with Marcus Smart?
Well, he's got very bad fingers, apparently. He's got a bad digit. Listen, it was so depressing because I'm a Marcus Smart guy. I'm still kind of I still like the idea of Marcus Smart because we talk about character. Like I like the character of Marcus Smart, the grit.
No.
I'm this is not basketball, but I just like the character of Marcus Smart.
Nope.
But it was very depressing seeing him in a sandwich between Justice Winslow and Chandler Parsons on percentage of games played. Like, yeah, gosh, it was bad. I don't think he plays for the Grizzlies anymore.
Really?
However, I don't. He at this point he's a contract. Rusty, who is a physical therapist, says that it's going to be a while, and I just kind of take him at that. He's been right several times, as much as I hate to admit it. But you just compare the contract with the lack of availability. I think that there's some teams that would be interested in him because of the things that I like about him, just the character and the toughness, the veteran mentality.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of what like Austin's saying. He's a playoff player. He is, but the problem is he hasn't been in the offense at all. Okay. He's a little undersized for a guy that needs to be next to Ja. Jalen Wells has been there, but Jalen Wells is bigger than some people realize. He's a lot longer.
Yeah, he is.
He's played great defense overall. He's in shape, which helps. He can knock down big threes. He doesn't need to score. I'm sorry, he doesn't need the ball to score. Like I like Jalen Wells. I don't see him as a guy that's starting in a playoff game. It might have to happen, but I hope it doesn't. But I'm curious as we keep going throughout this year and what actually happens with Marcus Smart overall. But there's so many comments in here. I'm going to ask Astronomo. Everybody's talking about this guy, Keldon Johnson.
I've always loved Keldon.
Yeah, I've been big on Keldon. What did he do tonight?
He hit a bunch of shots. It feels like
6 of 12 overall, 1 of 4 from deep, 17 points.
He's just an activity guy. I feel like he's DeAnthony Melton-ish. You know, it's like he's just always kind of in the mix. I always hear his name when we play the Spurs, and I always at the end of the game, I'm just like, I'd like to have that guy.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's what him just scoring 17 points is good, but you need somebody that can get hot, and I think that he's the type of player that can get hot if you need somebody to kind of do something, especially coming off the bench. And so I'm curious, but Marcus Smart, man, I don't know if he's going to be back. I'm curious what happens. I would love to have Cam Johnson overall. I would trade a lot of people to get a Cam Johnson just because I think he's underrated in all honesty. I think he's not miscast, but I think he's in too big of a role to where he's currently at. Like he should not be the lead best player on a team. Like he needs to be the third, maybe fourth to really excel. It's just, sometimes you get caught in getting a too big of a contract, too big of a role in the team, and sometimes you can kind of flourish out a little bit. So, but we'll see.
For me, it's like when he was in Phoenix, he was on those Kevin Durant team he was on that team that went to the finals. And he didn't really have much of a role at all. And now he's gone to Brooklyn and developed, and it's almost like he's outgrown Brooklyn. And he's outgrown his role in Brooklyn. So, yeah, I think he would fit great. I think he's a perfect third to fourth dude in a starting lineup that spreads the floor. I mean, there's not a better fit, in my opinion, from a non-superstar than Cam Johnson.
Right. And Art saying Keldon Johnson might be more attainable than Cam Johnson or Hunter.
DeAndre.
DeAndre Hunter. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, the only thing is DeAndre Hunter. I think he's fine. They really wanted Larry Nance Jr. Larry Nance Jr. just got hurt. So if any, I believe he's going to be healthy before the trade deadline. So if anything happens, you're going to see Larry Nance Jr. and DeAndre Hunter come back from Atlanta. I don't know who it's for. I think the discussions have been around Marcus Smart. I don't think Luke would be in that discussion. I think it would be more Marcus Smart. They're looking to have more defense, but overall, I just think we do. But I do know about the tendons. Like both of my, if you can see this, my finger, it does not straighten.
Line?
Huh?
You play offensive line?
Basketball. So this one does it too. Like that one, like I can straighten it, and then it'll just fall. So I know about the torn tendons in the fingers. They literally, if you don't keep them straight, and I know Rusty's probably like, oh, this is my stuff. But if you don't keep them straight for so long, the tendon doesn't completely heal. What I learned, and I didn't learn the second time, which I should have. But if you don't, and you ever move it or whatever, it's almost like it starts over because it needs to completely heal. Whatever. So I get the whole finger.
I think he's in a splint too, which makes sense.
You have to be.
Yeah.
It has to stay straight because for the tendon to completely heal. I promise you, my fingers, that it's both ring fingers. So it's just like, anyway, that's my show and tell for the night. But I'm curious. Last thing on this game, I got asked this question on my sports betting show, Driving the Line, which the hell, I don't even know. There's a lot of things going on with that, but they asked me, is Victor Wembanyama an actual face of the league in 2 years?
If they start winning, if they start moving to the top half of the Western Conference, then they're going to force him to be the face of the NBA. Now, you probably want a little bit more. Like, I still don't know that I've ever heard Wemby speak like in the microphone. So that would help if he like becomes like a person that talks in the media or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they're going to cram Wemby down our throats. He's already got a Christmas Day game, and then he made the playoffs. So yeah, he's going to be the face of the league, or they're going to attempt to.
See, I disagree. I don't think that you can have a big man as the face of the league. I don't think he has enough, and I know he's huge, and I know he's like crazy to like really view and look at. The problem is yeah, he's so marketable. I get it. I thought you were actually making fun of him. The dude went out and played chess, right? That was cool, and it was great. He's a good dude. The problem is, I don't think he is marketable. I think he's fine, and I think
he's a robot.
He is a robot, and I don't think he doesn't have the swag, and I probably shouldn't be saying that as a white guy with no swag. Like he doesn't have it, and I don't see it, and so I'm curious where it actually, who is the face of the league. I think they wanted Ant to be that. Ant's flying off and not doing the right things. Ja was an idiot. Ja is the most viewed, as Rusty says, but I'm curious how he is looked at. I think he's, as Marco says, I think he's very much like Kawhi Leonard. I think he's well respected, known to be one of the best players in the league, and most basketball, hoop heads know who that is. But I don't think they actually like put the money behind Wemby. I think he's amazing, but I think that's international. I don't think he's face of the league overall.
Right. Yeah, I can see those points to all be valid. That's the reason why I say like I've never heard him speak, Yeah. And so he is going to be must-see TV for a long time just because of his basketball abilities and only that. So if face of the league's got to means also mouthpiece, like shoving down our throats, maybe not. But boy, he's fun to watch.
No doubt. He's definitely fun to watch. Anything else you got in the game before we kind of move on? What we're going to do as we do move on a little bit is we're going to hit on where they play, which everybody that we've only done it one time. This is the second time ever, and this is a Memphis edition. Every single fellow has a tie to Memphis. You're going to find out here. We got 5 guys. I'm going to ask you if you can find out or just not find out. I don't need you Googling, but if you can figure out where they play, we're going to see how you do in that. But and after that, we'll kind of look ahead to the next matchup, what we think that looks like, just overall. But Wembanyama overrated.
Taller version of it's Goon. A taller version of
Goon.
Jaren is going to be on his list.
My God, Goon. Good God. But yeah, anything you want to hit on before this game? The Grizzlies do win, though, 129 to 115. And it was a good win, and they showed out in the fourth quarter for sure.
Yeah, I'll just leave with repeating what I said earlier. This was a big boy win, and it's a win that it was obvious from Monday against Houston to tonight that things were learned, adjustments were made, and the big boys showed up to play. And when our guys show up to play and they play well, we're going to win games.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, this is Grizz 901. I am Daniel Greer. That is Drew Gann. And we're going to get into a new segment, a new-ish segment. By the way, when I said that, y'all, that good-ish to me means S-H-I-T. But I love that on your show that y'all have taken as a goodish show.
Well, so, I mean, it seemed right up our alley. I took that as an amazing compliment.
I love it. All right, let's get to where they. Man, you are rocking out over there. All right.
I've got a past. Okay.
Can you play the guitar?
Oh, I rocked the low notes like over your left shoulder there for a long time.
Gotcha. Yeah. I have no idea how to play that thing.
Yeah. That was good music. You got me pumped up. Start the show with that, and I may be shirtless by this point next time.
Yes. All right. So we got our first guy of our segment of where he played. It's very simple, Drew. 1, no cheating. 2, you can use the chat for help. There's nothing crazy on here. But the first guy we're going to come with is Amani Bates. Drew, do you know where he play?
I know where he did play. He was for the Cavs G League team. Is he still there?
I don't know. Is he?
I'm going to lock in. Regis Philbin. I'm going to lock in the Cavs G League team. Final answer.
We have the final answer, and it is the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, so you're 1 for 1.
Picture.
That. Look at this thing.
I mean, that's a metal dude if I've ever seen one in my life.
Listen, I saw that, and the first thing I thought of was, I got to use that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this guy, we know his first name. There's 0 chance you know his last name, but it's Tosan Letters.
Yeah, I didn't even try to say this dude's name last year. Dude, if for some reason I feel like I remember seeing him as somebody got him on a 2-way or something. Total
just
shot
recently signed on a 2-way.
Just recently. My gut said Brooklyn. I don't know why, but Brooklyn final answer. Yeah.
We need some music here. Let's see if I can get this going. I think I can hear it. Can't hear it?
Oh, very faintly.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it very faintly. I got the noise cancelers in.
There we go. It's finally all right. So maybe it just took a little bit going. Anyway, so let's look at where he played real quick. And I am lost on this one. All right, here we go. Tosan Letters. Brooklyn.
Hey, there we go.
Dude, how you're 2 for 2, I have no idea.
I'm not sure that's him. For some reason, I thought he was white.
that is him.
I shut off a lot of last year's memories.
Hey, you know where I don't have this up here, but you know where Trey Jamison plays?
Yeah, he just went to the Lakers.
Very good.
I saw that, and the first thing that I thought was they cut that Oliver or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And that's the dude that has the Curry shoe deal. That's the only reason why I was like, huh.
Shut up.
Curry signed an athlete to his shoe deal, and the Lakers cut him. Like, money not well spent.
Nah, go. No, we good. All right, this is another guy who is an OG. It's around the time I think you started watching, I believe. But Javon Carter.
Oh, I was with Javon Carter. I remember him getting drafted. Let's see. I know he was. I'm going to. I'm trying to, because he went to Milwaukee and actually played a little bit, and I was stunned this year when I saw him on the bench for somebody. Milwaukee. No, Minnesota.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer. That's a shot in the dark.
All right, you are wrong. You want another guess?
Listen, I wouldn't even know where to get. The Clippers.
Nope, but you're close. It's Chicago Bulls.
Oh,
the chat guy
geographically close the first time.
Yeah, Rage Tempo got it. Austin got it. Marco got it. Art got it. My God, just look at the chat.
Yeah, I was trying not to look. Yeah, all right. I love Javon Carter.
He was good. He's not doing much there in Chicago, but he's there. Speaking of not doing much, he did a lot for us. This was a triple-double machine for his 1 year that he was here. DeLon Wright. Do you know where he played?
DeLon Wright. I'm going Atlanta.
The Atlanta Hawks. Final answer.
Oh, Art says the Bucks. Makes me nervous. I've locked it in now.
That is wrong. DeLon Wright does not play for the Bucks. I'm sorry. He does play for whoever you said. Who'd you say?
I said Atlanta.
Atlanta. He does not play for Atlanta. You have another guess.
Yeah, I saw Goon the Shooter. I think that's right. For some reason, it rings a bell. Miami.
Nope.
No.
Milwaukee Bucks. You should have listened to Art.
Art. Yeah. Art knows everything.
I love this. All right, so Art's hammered that. So Austin got it right as well. Canada Water. Not sure what Canada Water. Astronomo.
Yeah. I don't know.
No spiraling for you tonight, buddy. We won. All right, last guy, James Johnson. Probably a little bit before you became an official fan, or am I on the edge?
No, I think you found the edge. I think you found the leading edge of my Grizzlies fandom, because I did not root for James Johnson as a Grizzly. But it wasn't long after. Shout out Ryan Hollins. He's like booty call for Indiana. So I'm going to say the Pacers. He signed so many contracts with the Pacers.
Mr. Black Belt himself. He is in Indiana still. I'm shocked that he is still there, because, my God, he's been there forever.
I'd like to take a minute just to apologize to James Johnson for calling him booty call, because that is not a dude I want to tangle with. Not. I apologize, Mr. Johnson. I will only refer to you as Mr. Johnson from now on.
Goon says he's a free agent. I don't believe that.
Oh. Goon also said that Wemby was a bigger Jaren Jackson, and meant it as a negative. So,
yeah, it says that he's still under contract with them. So maybe he's just calling him the free agent James Johnson, but he's actually been.
They've got him on retainer, is what it is. It's not really a contract as much as it's like a retainer.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, it says 2022 to present. So yeah, Art said he's got 2 years left.
Oh, he's going to be like 40.
Sheesh, how old do you think he is?
I'm going to say he is 35.
Nope.
Younger?
Older.
Older.
He's younger than me, but I don't know how old you are, but
42.
Nah, 37.
37.
I'm not older than 42. My God, I am 40, but whatever.
37.
Over the hill. Hey, but you did good. I was very shocked of how well you did on that. Nate would have had zero chance.
Slow end. I started hot, and then.
No. All right. So, chat, what'd you think of it? It's our second one we've done so far of where he play. And so I'm curious what their thoughts of it. The first one was, man, I think I actually got one of them wrong. I think I switched the players, their jerseys, so whatever. But yeah, Art says he won it. He definitely won.
Art won it. He came in with contract details. Yeah, Art wins.
Arch is better at Googling than everybody else.
He's quick. It's a different time zone in Argentina or Peru
or wherever. No, he's Brazil.
Brazil.
Arch Brazil. Yeah. But let's move on to a little bit of the look ahead. We don't have the look ahead from Ryan. Ryan actually asked if he should do it, and because he has his wife's birthday tonight, his kids had basketball games. I said, dude, we're playing the same team. Yeah, don't worry about it. So let's talk about.
You want to replay last one?
Last one. So my only problem with this next game, and I don't know if you've seen this schedule, but I'm going to double check and make sure it's the same. They play on ESPN against the Spurs on Friday night at 8:30 tip.
Oh, gosh. That's Central Time Zone, 8:30. I feel bad. You know, one time I saw the Spurs playing FedEx Forum, and it was an 8 o'clock tip like this for nationally televised stuff. And I was meeting some friends from Little Rock, Arkansas, in Memphis to watch the Spurs game. And somebody there, we bought nosebleeds because that's all I ever buy. And somebody there walked up to us like, I didn't realize that the game was so late. If y'all are Grizzlies fans, here's tickets 5 rows up from the Spurs bench. And that's the best seats I've ever had in my life. Yeah.
Wow. Was that at San Antonio?
No, that was in Memphis.
Oh, okay, in Memphis.
Yeah. So he said as long as we weren't Spurs, he wasn't going to give them to Spurs fans. And my buddy was a Spurs fan, but he had a jacket on, and I just looked at him and said, shut up.
Yeah, don't say a word. Don't talk. I've actually been to that arena. I guess we won't call it a stadium, but arena. Dude, and if anybody's ever been there, if you have the same experience as I have, like their seats go straight up.
Oh, I like that.
Like it's literally like when you're literally walking straight up. Like it's not in an elevate. I guess the elevation or whatever. It's not, but it's like straight up. So when I was sitting in my chair, I was like, I feel like I'm going to fall forward. It just makes you feel like you're a little closer, which I don't know if that works with the reverb of the cheering and yelling and everything, but it definitely makes you feel like you're a little bit on top. But either way, I didn't love it. But some people might.
I would. I've had that experience one time. If you've ever been to the Superdome in New Orleans,
yep.
They built that on such a tight little lot there that it goes straight up. And you're talking about I'm hooping and hollering watching the Rebels in the Sugar Bowl, and thought I was going to lose it on the person in front of me constantly.
Real quick, what time is it, Art? I'd love to know. He's like, you guys never call games late because late games for you are dawn time here.
Yeah, it's like Wayno watches Grizzlies games at lunchtime, I think.
Crazy. I would not be as dedicated of a fan. It's 1 a.m. God. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us for sure. As always, man. Always a good time having you here for sure. But the Spurs, I think that it's the same thing as we go into the next game. I think it's all about, can they guard the 3-point line enough? Because I wanted to look through the stats real quick on that, because it was the stats overall. It was 16-38 for the Grizzlies, 16-43 for the Spurs. And I think if you look at it, their 3-point percentage was 37% tonight. If they can keep that, which they do shoot a lot, as we learned on the last look ahead, they do shoot a lot of threes. They just don't have a higher percentage. And so 37% compared to the Grizzlies, 42% was the biggest thing. The free throws weren't crazy. Just overall, they out-rebounded them. 28 assists back, that's compared to what it was against Houston. Let them on steals. The blocks, you're never going to overtake them in blocks because Wemby's just a freak.
Yeah,
turnovers.
Any team that shoots 50% of their shots from 3, if they get hot, you're just not going to beat them.
No, never.
And that's what they shot, 48% of their shots from behind the 3-point line tonight.
Crazy. So it's gonna keep happening. So next game, do you change anything?
No, I mean, the mindset's got to be what the mindset was tonight. And it is, I mean, you got to get into playoff mode now. You've got to execute now. You've got to have that sense of urgency, not because you're fighting for seeding, but just because you're still learning. And you've still just got to, I know you said it on the last show, and I couldn't agree more, is winning is a habit that you develop. And you've just got to have these guys get in winning mindsets every night. But the biggest thing for Friday night against the Spurs is I think Gigi's going to play. I think Gigi's playing Friday night.
So I don't think so. He's playing.
You don't think so?
He's playing tonight and Thursday night for
Was that announced?
hustle.
Okay.
I believe that's what.
So
I think that's what they
do you
talked
think
about on
they're
the
gonna play
show.
back to back? Blame on a back to back?
I don't know if I would, but even
Yeah.
though tonight he did not look good. I don't know if you've seen any highlights. He looks slow, and I don't know if that's because of conditioning or what. He looks slow. I'm not saying he won't be like he'd be slow when he came up here. But yeah, it said Ray Shimbo said Gigi's playing tomorrow for the hustle.
Okay.
So
well, then he's not going to play against San Antonio, so I take it back. So find a home game next is probably when he'll make his return. But yeah, you just need a lot more of the same. I want to see intensity. I want to see a sense of urgency from all players, but especially John Morant. I mean, he came out tonight like a bull let out of a cage, and that's what I want to see.
No doubt. Let's get through some of these questions real quick. I think we had them. Yeah, Art. So Art's asked a couple questions tonight. Would you guys trade for Keldon Johnson and be a good 6-man? I think you do make the trade. I haven't looked at the contract, so I don't know what it looks like, but I'm curious what that is. It's got to be close to the same thing Marcus Smart's making. I don't know why it would be different. So we can look through that. Go ahead and pull that up if you're looking for it.
He signed a 4-year, $74 million contract. That was in. He's a free agent in 27, so that's a relatively fresh contract.
Yeah. I like that. I just don't know. Like that's a tradable contract. That's what I always look at is it tradable if you get somebody.
It's a descending contract. 2019 this year, 17.5 the next 2 years. And then he's unrestricted in 27, 28. So he'll be under contract for 2 years after this one. So
yeah. He's the second highest paid player on their team. My God.
They're young. They're very young.
All right. So yes, I definitely would do that for sure.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the last one he said is, would you guys enter back into the Jimmy Butler situation? He said he would, but Smart, Kennard, Conchar, Laravia, 2 firsts, add a third team, some seconds if needed. Would you take an upset Jimmy Butler if the Phoenix Suns, who look like, I don't see how in the world they can make that happen other than Bradley Beal and using that third team, but who really wants to help out the Phoenix Suns? In all honesty, I don't know anybody that wants to go help them. So at that point, what are we doing? Like, I would be good with getting Jimmy. I just don't know if with all the stuff that's happened, bro, that's not what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, I was pro Jimmy in the right scenario. Now, not necessarily with him being like, I'm not coming to Memphis. That seems like a gamble that I don't know that I would take, especially talking to me tonight after I saw John Morant, Jaren, and Desmond be awesome. I don't know if I'd upset that apple cart if they're all in sync. But, I mean, I wouldn't say no to that package if that's the package that they accepted and they wanted to make that offer. You know, the best player being Marcus Smart or Luke Kennard is, I'd give them up.
So that's my thing is like, shout out to Lauren. She's a newish fan here of Grizz 101.
Welcome.
But shout out to Lauren. She's been here ever since I think she found us. I think it was like 4 or 5 games ago, if not more than that.
But sorry I couldn't hold your attention.
So it's late. I guess not too bad late.
Yeah.
But the only way I would enter back into it is, and I am good on getting rid of Smart, Kennard, and pieces if that's all it takes. Smart, Kennard, pieces, whatever. Especially because one, I don't think Smart fits here. Kennard's expiring, Laravia, guys like that. They're Conchar, a contract that you don't really love. So all of that, if that's all you had to give up, and whatever you got back is whatever you got back. As long as you're not doing more than 2 firsts, and he is cool with actually being a guy that wants to be here in a sense.
Yeah.
The only problem is you're literally giving up 2 first-round picks, which are going to be around the 25 area, right? So 7 or so picks before
we don't need them.
Yeah, and so yeah, but you're not giving up. I know it's 2 first-round picks, but you're giving, but that's what you're giving up for a rental, and all you
Right.
have is free agent money at that point. I don't know if that's the right thing, other than if you might be able to sign and trade him to somebody in the offseason.
Yeah. The way I look at it is I think he would help this team right now make a run. It's a short-term move without a lot of long-term downside because it does consolidate and he could fall off the books. And if it works, and he wanted to re-sign because he's not going to pick up that $50 million option. I don't think he wants another deal. And if he wants to re-sign and he does buy in, and if you could get him on a 3-year, $100 million contract, like I think that's a win. And Jimmy Butler is a model citizen and a great locker room and on-court playoff player when his head's right. I think that if he gets happy in this season, then I don't think it goes sour that quickly. He typically sticks for a little while before he gets unhappy.
I like him as a player. I don't know if that's going to be the guy that they end up going all in for, but my God, man, if you could get him and he was happy and he would be cool, I think they could really make some noise in the playoffs. He's the perfect guy that when you kind of need somebody next to a Bane for those spurts, but you need somebody in the fourth quarter to hit a big shot if needed. He's going to play defense. He's going to get steals. He's going to make your team better.
Super Marcus Smart.
Yeah, super Marcus Smart for sure. Like I know everybody's either pass or like, hey, I would potentially kick the tires. Problem is, I don't think it happens. But man, if you could get him, if you got him for 2 years, I'd be thrilled. But there's no way.
Yeah, no, I think you either get him for a half a season or you get him for 3.5 seasons.
At a lot of money. At an old age, and that's not what I want to do. So
yeah, I want Cam Johnson 1, and then if you strike out, then you move down the list, and he's also receiving votes, kind of thing.
No doubt. All right, King Meek's got a question. We'll end it on this, unless somebody else has something that they put a ask Uncle Buck. What color would Jimmy's hair be if he came here?
Honey gold. Listen, I don't want to play this game if he's here. I do not like subliminal messaging from superstar players. If he comes to Memphis, I hope that he leaves that in Miami. He leaves the subliminal messages from the hair colors in Miami. But if you're going to pick one for Memphis, the honey gold be great.
I like it. That's a good way to end the show. No doubt, man. But I appreciate you coming in and hanging out.
Yes, sir.
I think is this our first real post-game show we've done together? This first time we've been on?
Other than just the intro when we joined on. This is the first post-game show. Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Look, moving on up here.
Moving on up. Yeah.
All right, that's it. This is
Appreciate you
Grizz.
having me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is Grizz out of 1. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. If you're over on Twitter, next time join us on YouTube. We'd love to have you over there because it's a lot more fun on YouTube. There's a lot more of you watching the show, but also commenting the whole time. But that's all we got. Drew, it's been great. Nate, I don't know if Nate will be back here for Friday's game because it's later. So I'm not sure what we're going to do on that. We haven't really discussed that just yet. I don't know if he'll still be away for work or not. So who knows, man? With Nate, you never really know. But that's all we got tonight. This is Grizz 101. I'm Daniel Greer. That is Drew Gann. Make sure you tune in for the Daily Grind in the morning at 7:30 Central. Luke will be there with Rusty. And then at noon Central, there's also the $2 Sports Show where you have Rusty and Drew. So we'll see you all next time. Be nice and tell your friends.